Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you're tuning in from. You may be tuning in again for the second time in about 20 minutes. We apologize for abandoning the last one. It wasn't a spider like what stopped Miles from streaming for about a minute last week. Yes, he suddenly just disappeared, okay?
Wow.
He was with someone else, so it was all right. But he just disappeared off the stream. It was like, oh, I wonder if his internet went or who knows what's going on. He came back later, a few minutes later, and said there was a spider issue and he was back on the stream. We've had a squirrel come on before. I mean, not quite on the stream, but like one of our presenters like just jumped out of her chair because a squirrel hit the window. We've had dogs, of course, and cats and stuff. Have you had any animals on Punto de Break suddenly appear?
I don't think if we are talking about the spontaneous appearances, not really.
But there was some planned. Like, was there like a Mr. Bond with a cat?
Yeah, maybe a cat, maybe a dog, from time to time, the audience likes animals, right? So not too bad then. You have squirrels, snakes. The next thing is spiders, I don't know. Spiders, the next thing is a snake.
Yeah, I think the next thing is a snake. Yeah. But hopefully it doesn't appear here, and it probably won't because we're in Seville.
I don't think so.
You get snakes in Seville?
Not really.
I mean,
Not
maybe
really.
Harmless ones like in the woods.
I don't remember being close to a snake in the last few years. So probably, if you go into the river, you'll probably find all sorts of things that I don't want to tell you there. Yeah. But if you don't take that risk, which I think you won't do, I'm more than fine, I think.
Cultural reference, of course, the river in Seville, where Carlos is from, is the Guadalquivir.
Guadalquivir, yes.
I'm not saying it very well, am I? Guadalquivir.
Well, it's a little bit of a riddle, for someone who doesn't speak Spanish, but Guadalquivir, yeah. You do speak Spanish.
But my pronunciation is not
always perfect. It's good. It was fine. It's more than fine.
Carlos, thankfully, though, does speak English, and we are here. We've done a part one, which was about Spain. If Carlos disappears, by the way, it's because there's a press conference. But I've decided to stick with you guys, and I'll let Carlos disappear. And
don't think I'll disappear, but I'm not going to make any other predictions now.
I know. I didn't think Daniel Collins would come to press quite so quickly.
Yeah, so soon, yeah.
But she came to press sensationally, very quickly, and very sort of boom, a bit like her tennis today.
Short notice.
Short notice it was, yeah. Else. But listen, we're going to wait for a few minutes, and I'll address Daniel Collins shortly. But before we do that, let's talk about Kazakhstan against Slovenia. Kazakhstan have gone home. Well, I guess they're on their way home probably right now because they are out of the tournament. They've involved one of these tricky scenarios where each nationality or each team won one match. I looked at the group last night and I thought Australia, even though statistically there was a chance because of the way that they'd lost so many sets in particular, it was likely that there'd have to be a crazy result for them to still qualify. So it was a kind of a shootout between Kazakhstan and Slovenia. No Rybakina. Where was Rybakina, by the way? Do we know?
I think she was sitting in the bench.
Yeah, but no Rybakina in terms of on the court,
No. Probably she isn't fit to play, or she is really feeling really tired after Cancun and stuff. I was counting on Rybakina to at least play one tie.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But I would say it's the same scenario with Badosa, but not really because Badosa hasn't played since June, I think, and Rybakina has been playing as of late. But I think maybe Kazakhstan didn't even believe that they could get the win today. Not the win, but the going through the group stage and going to the semifinals. Yeah.
Badosa's not in any of the matches today, right?
No.
It does seem a strange. I get the Rybakina one because let's say Rybakina is a little jaded, a little tired after her exploits this season, also in Cancun. But let's say they make the semis.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe they're thinking, we'll play her then, or the final, perhaps even. I think with Badosa, because she's been absent for so long.
Yeah.
It's not like a sickness where tomorrow she's going to be okay.
No. And the team captain of Spain said that she wasn't ready. She wasn't fit to play. So if you're asking yourself why did Spanish team bring her in? In terms of optics, in terms of image, in terms of selling more tickets, Badosa is a nice attraction, for the team. Probably the highest profile name in the Spanish team.
Yeah.
But I think us that we are covering Spanish, let's say all the news about Spain national team from the last few years, I think between us we knew that Badosa wasn't going to play because she's been absent, as you said, for so long. She hasn't had any kind of small tournaments as preparation. it seemed unlikely that she would play. I mean, like first match straight back, something that is, the stakes are so high here that almost one match can get you home. It wasn't the perfect scenario for her. It wasn't the ideal scenario for her to come back in such a big competition. So she didn't play. That's what happened.
But from my point of view, as a sports fan, rather than aesthetics, it doesn't make sense to have her on the team. But I know what you mean. Sell tickets and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I don't like that so much. Listen, we did Spain earlier on, though, so let's switch back to Slovenia and Kazakhstan. Putintseva was on the team, of course, and she did have she won her match or her tie the other day, or whatever you call it in these terms. I get confused all the time, and it's my native tongue, so I should know better. But what about Slovenia? I mean, what did they do right?
Slovenia, well, it's a massive achievement for them because it's the biggest result in Fed Cup, Billie Jean King Cup in the history. The last best result was in 2003 when they reached the quarterfinals, lost against Russia. Old format, classic format, the one that I like. But in this new format, such a tight group, as you said, it went down to I don't know, man. It went down to the last minute. Okay, Masarov is at 7th.
That's good news.
So that's good news. Good news for us. So Kaya Juvan completely destroyed her opponent. She's hitting the ball really well, cleanly, just dictating the play, imposing, let's say his offensive play style. She had really she gave the opponent no chance. Danilina was her opponent, and it wasn't a contest really. It was a really complete annihilation from Kaya Juvan.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second one, Zidansek against Putintseva. Zidansek won the first set. She was expecting to win it in straights. That's what she told us at the press conference. But she was feeling a little bit, the heat, not the heat, but the exhaustion after so many ties and after all. We're at the tail end of the season. She felt that she wasn't really feeling well physically, so she decided to forfeit. And, it doesn't look good in terms of optics, but it's sensible because they are playing the semifinals. At that moment, they clearly knew that they were going to play the semifinals. And so she decided not to, get more tired playing a third set that would lead them nowhere. And then, of course, the doubles, it was, I think, a formality, they played Elanela, Milic, and Erjavec, which are the, let's say, 3 or 4, the third or the fourth players in terms of, lineup. They lost the match, but they won the tie, which is the most important thing. Very close match, very tight match, the doubles one. So, yeah, they were very happy. All smiles at the press conference, laughing with the Slovenian journalists. Great week for them. I think even if they lose tomorrow against Italy in the semifinals, they will be very happy and they will be coming back home with a great smile in the heads. Yeah.
They've certainly overachieved just by getting to the semifinals. I guess they are the outsiders of the 4 nations, whoever they are in the semis.
Yes, I think the underdogs. They're playing Italy. Italy is the favorite because they have a little bit more depth, I think, in the team. But it's hard courts. It's Kaya Juvan. She will play, I guess, against Paolini, or is it Paolini the first one, or Trevisan? Who is
not sure.
I'm not sure.
Very close in the
rankings. Because they're very close in the rankings.
I think Paolini is slightly ahead of her.
Okay, so then Kaya Juvan against Trevisan, a complete clash of styles, so to say, completely different styles, opponent game styles. So that should be a really interesting one. And then Zidansek against Paolini. Could be tight, actually. Could be tight. I think the hard courts should favor Slovenia a little bit more, but Italy has been feeling really well on the scores. They are gritty, they are not so fast. So it's on paper it's a little bit tighter than what the nations might appear. I think
Paolini is also, if it's not right now, a couple of weeks ago she reached her career highest ranking. I think she's 27 years old, so it's a good moment for her. She was in the final in Monastir, and I think she's been playing really well.
Best moment of her career, I think, right now.
Best so far.
Form.
So, what else have we got? Okay, we've had... I just want to touch on Tatiana Maria as well. What happened with her today?
I have no idea, mate.
Because she was 3-love up, right? She retired,
Strange. She retired. I think she wasn't feeling well physically, like some sort of ailment or something like that. But we didn't see any kind of, I don't know, twisting your ankle or rolling your ankle. Nothing like that.
It's an illness, perhaps.
How she was feeling,
Probably that's why she didn't play yesterday. But it makes you wonder why, what was the dead rubber that she played today?
And it was her first match.
Yeah, right. That's right, because she was on the list for yesterday, but then there was a strange decision.
And she's the leader of this German team, at least if you look at the rankings, So it was a little bit strange, but I guess because she wasn't feeling physically well, she didn't take part in any of the previous lives.
Maybe she felt. Maybe I mean, like, we're all speculating here, but maybe the withdrawal from because she was due to play doubles with Laura Sigmund yesterday, and a last minute change ended up. And I asked the captain about it yesterday. I said, "What was this?" And he said, "Look, personal reasons or personal issues." So I was like, "Okay, fine." And perhaps those, but I was just surprised that maybe she was like, you know what, I didn't feel well yesterday at the last minute. Although the captain also suggested it was a matchup thing, so I'm not quite sure what was going on. But whatever, she took the court. Maybe she just felt obliged to take the court as being the senior member of the team.
I don't know. It was strange. The match ended in like 15 minutes, so there's not much to comment.
As Carlos would say, I've noticed this expression this week. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It's what you say.
It is what it is.
Okay, then. Tatiana Maria, Germany. Tick, of course, Germany are out along with the French as well. But that was confirmed yesterday, and of course we did touch upon that yesterday as well. So we'll move on to some teams or nations that are still in this tournament, very much in this tournament. The clash of the group stages, I would argue. Two teams that I would have thought if they were kept apart in the the probably would have made the final. Yeah,
sure.
And may well have been the finals. Would be the Czech Republic against the US. They are right now in what you would term, or you did term, a quarter-final. It's a shootout, basically, for a spot in the semi-final. Winner takes all. And Danielle Collins, we've just watched her winning straight sets over Siniakova. How impressed were you?
Clinical performance from Collins, which didn't find her range until midway the first set, but then she was completely thrashing Siniakova, hitting the returns very cleanly, like I think she hit around 5 or 6 return winners during the whole match. And at the end of the first set, she did something right, in my opinion, which was get a little bit of more pop, of more air in her ground strokes to set up a short ball and then go full in with a flat, either forehand or backhand, and then just take advantage of the short ball and dominate the point. She did that very well. I think that confused a little bit Siniakova because I think she wasn't expecting that, and she rode the wave all until the end of the match. Clinical performance. I think it's also positive for her that she is physically very fresh. She should be 2 matches, and all of them were done in straight sets, and didn't look like us that, or didn't look for me that she was, spending too much energy on court. So that bodes well for them because if United States progresses, they will play tomorrow. They could play also on Sunday, and they have been playing since yesterday. So it's back to back to back to back.
Yeah, true. Yeah. The other thing as well with Danielle, I also thought about this during her match today. It's maybe the first time I've seen her in a long time where she hasn't got any strapping on or something. I remember seeing her have I think it was her thigh was strapped for large parts of this year. She has had, as I spoke to her about this yesterday, she's had a few physical issues in the last few years, and particularly sort of maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but she seems to be over them. And when I was tempted to ask her in the press conference, is this the best? I didn't get to it. And I had the
performance.
I was going to say, is this the best tennis you're playing since Australia? And do you know why I didn't ask it?
Why?
Because you just don't know what she might say. She's like, well, didn't you see me play in San Diego?
Yeah.
Or didn't you see me playing that 1-2-5
You
or
thought
something?
she might get angry?
You never know. I mean,
because you are done playing her tennis throughout the whole year.
She's almost a friend of the show now. I mean,
she is a friend of the show, but you didn't have the courage to tell her that she was a friend of the show.
No, I didn't know. Unlike Dugas Assis,
who
I had no
Aziz
hesitation.
Dugas,
Dugas, who I had no hesitation in telling.
I mean, more of a laid back, background. This is a Billie Jean King Cup. You have to go through a lot of people, a lot of stuff to get something like that. So you wouldn't risk it.
With Aziz, it was like about 3 or 4 hours in advance. I spoke to his father. I spoke to a coach nearby. It was sat on a couch in Tunisia in a hotel. It was all very nice. 20 minutes. I think he would have gone for another 20 minutes.
I think the other thing that was missing there was kind of a mojito or a gin tonic.
Yeah, or even
you
a
were
shisha.
so comfortable. Or shisha, hookah. Yeah,
exactly.
That's for you. I don't smoke hookah, but
I had one in Tunisia. In fact,
cool.
I put it on the channel as well, like as part of a little montage. Yeah. But yeah, Danielle Collins, the interview we had with her yesterday, I got 10 seconds notice for that. There's some film footage I was looking at today, which is quite funny, where somebody sort of says to me, okay, we're ready for you now, John. And I'm like, ready for what?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, we're going to do it. So I said, okay. So I said, Danielle, I'm going to run and I'll be back in 20 seconds because I didn't know I was going to do the interview. But fortunately, it all worked out and Danielle was very patient. So anyway, so Danielle Collins, for me, she's playing the best tennis she's played since Australia. just sensational, taking the ball. She blew on her racket to sort of suggest that, she was just like cooling down the fireworks that were coming off her racket, I thought, and she was just sensational, as she can be against Siniakova as well. Didn't Siniakova win a tournament recently, I think, in Asia? Or get to the final, maybe?
Yes.
I mean,
she's been having really good results as of lately. Yeah.
So what is the lineup for the Czech? Are they playing?
Kenin against Bondrusova right now.
Kenin Vondrusova,
and I think Bondrusova is crashing.
Is she?
Let's have a live look.
So then it'll be all down to the doubles potentially, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so Vondrusova won the first set 6-1.
Wow.
And is leading 1-0, second one.
Okay.
Could be a quick one.
And
it could go and
then we'll have the exciting doubles.
It could go to the wire.
Which is great for me and for tennis and all the rest of it. Which, of course, it's all about me, as we know, and my enjoyment. So who's in the doubles tonight for them?
Well, the lineup should be Siniakova and Krejcikova against Taylor Townsend and Slovana Stephens.
Okay. I mean,
Czechs are favorites.
Yeah.
But
you never know.
You have a top 10 in doubles, I think, Townsend.
Taylor Townsend, yeah. Of course, she's normally alongside Lena Fernandez, who's obviously here representing Canada. Canada, of course, already through. So, I guess if the Czechs do level it up, I remember saying this on the podcast yesterday, actually. I thought to myself, the problem that the Americans have is they probably have to win both the singles. That's what I was suggesting. But as you say, it's not clear cut that the Czechs win the doubles.
I don't think it's a clear cut. I mean, they are the favorites, of course. I mean, I'm probably, let's be honest, Krejcikova and Siniakova would be favorites against anyone in this tournament. Maybe, I don't know, Dabrowski and Leila Fernandez. Maybe that would be a close tie if it goes there, because there could be a Canada against Czech Republic semifinal tomorrow. And that would be an amazing match to witness. But, apart from that, I think they'd be favorites against anyone. So I think Stephens and Townsend is a very competitive lineup, a very competitive pair, but the Czechs are still the favorite. That's what you get when you have so much depth and you are even leaving out names like Vitova
and missing Mukova.
And Mukova, who is injured. Unfortunately, because I think she's one of the most elegant players on tour, and I love watching her. Yeah.
I also think if the Czechs don't win it, if they go out tonight narrowly to the Americans, or if they don't quite make it one way or another, I think we will look at that Mukova absence as being maybe just the difference between winning this tournament and losing it.
Yeah, because you have two big names for singles, Mukova and Vondrusova. Like they could sweep almost every single,
especially if Mukova's fit, but clearly, unfortunately, she hasn't played, I think, since the US Open, which is a pity. Just a quick there from Dream Team Temesis, I think it is. We did touch on that Rebecca earlier. I spoke to somebody within the Kazakhstan, what do you call it? Staff, yeah, thank you, who said that she wasn't feeling great. This is about 2 days ago, and she was unlikely to play yesterday. I probably did think that she would still make it for today because she's traveled all the way here from Cancun, of course. Yeah. But as I touched on earlier, maybe they were thinking that, listen, she's still not quite ready, but she would be for a semi or a final. So I'm less critical of that decision than I would be regarding Paula Badosa.
Okay.
We haven't mentioned Canada because they went through yesterday. I believe they are safely through and they await the winner of the Americans and the Czechs. But I just want to finish on Leila Fernandez because she has been one of the stories of this tournament, probably along with Daniel Collins, but we don't know if we're going to see Daniel Collins in the semis or not yet. But I just think that winning that match in a tight fashion the other day and seeing her, her images plastered all over the media in the day that followed, I think has been a sensational thing. And I just want to see a Leila Fernandez Grand Slam run again someday, because I always worry about these players that get to Grand Slam finals, whether they're 20 or whether they're 30. And never quite get over the hill. And you never know with Leila.
You have another pretty good example of that in this tournament, which is Sofia Kenin.
Yeah, but she did get the Grand Slam.
I mean, yeah, she did get the Grand Slam.
But I don't worry. So if Kenin was playing Leila, for example, in the Grand Slam final, I'm 100% behind Leila just because she hasn't done it,
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, she's been fantastic for sure, taking the ball early. And she also showed a lot of grit in the first match against Sara Sorribes, which I think everyone here knows that it's no easy opponent at all to play, Sara Sorribes. You have to, grind your way to the win. That's a polite way of saying it, subtle way of saying it.
Yeah.
No, but Leila has been sensational. She crashed Lynette yesterday, taking the ball early, carving those angles that are so characteristic of her game. It's one of the most attractive players to watch, actually, too, for me, in my opinion, with that, game style. Let's see. That's a good question. That Stakusic is, I think, she's one of the stories of the tournament. I had the pleasure to ask her questions in both of her press conferences, and I did get something out of it.
Okay, what did you get?
Because yesterday we were talking about the rise of Canadian tennis and the structure that they have. So she mentioned that, of course, the current crop of Canadian players such as Felix, Bianca, Leila, Dennis help her, to in terms of her development. So I said, just to follow up on it, just following up with, did you have any idols growing up? Like, did you look up to any of these players? And she paused for a second. She was like, not really, actually. My idol was Djokovic.
Oh yeah.
And it was surprising because we hadn't mentioned Djokovic at all at that time. And then she mentioned that she was Serbian, which, I mean, according to Wikipedia, she was born in Canada, but I assume, as a lot of Canadians, that she's born to Serbian immigrants to Canada. I think I'm not sure, but I assume it would be that way because she said that she was Serbian, and that Djokovic has always been her idol, because of his mentality, because of the way he is able to find a way to win, even though he might seem he's going to lose. So that was a pretty good wrap up of the press conference, but she's playing really well, hitting the ball early, taking advantage also of her opponent's mistakes, and which the thing that I didn't expect yesterday, it was for her to come back. She was playing Magdalena Frech, which is a well-established WTA player, WTA level player, and she had the nerves, to come back and to, pull off such a miracle and magical win for her. One of the greatest stories of the tournament. She has been catching fire recently. She won 2 ITFs, 3 ITFs this year, 2 ITF in North America for the next, I think, the last 2 or 3 months. One to watch, guys. If you're following the Billie Jean King Cup, you might be watching a breakthrough of the next star. Who knows? But she's been playing really well.
All right, we're going to have to finish now, but it's also a good question from Dream Tea Temis. I actually don't know. I think they're both difficult propositions.
Very even.
Yeah, so I mean, from Canada's perspective, the problem is you probably want the team that loses, but of course they're going to be. I
think they should rely on the team that doesn't have such a strong leader, because they might count on Stakusic losing the first tie, but Leila winning the second, and then in the doubles they have a really solid pair with Dabrowski and Leila Fernandez.
I see, right? Yeah.
So I mean, but so far so good. They have won both of a single side, so they might not do that math.
All right, listen, we better wrap up because my battery's about to die. We've got a press conference coming up as well, so it's all good. But thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button. Check out Carlos either on Punto de Break,
guys,
or on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle again?
The Magician 5GS.
Thanks, guys, and
if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.